If you feel overwhelmed at just the thought of returning to the paid workforce after your career break, then this is the video series for you. In this 6-part series, you'll learn everything from where do I even begin to how do I talk about my career break in an interview. Trust me, I know how overwhelming this process can seem because I have been in your shoes. I took my own career break to focus on being a mom. And when I looked to return, I needed to find a position that met me where I was at. And I also wanted to change fields. It wasn't easy, but I did it. And I know you can too. And if you would like a free workbook that accompanies the entire series, including exercises, action items, templates, and more, then you can download it from the link in the description below. Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm here to take your job search journey from stressful to successful. So let's dive in with part 1, mindset. Welcome to module 1, which is all about mindset. Now, in full transparency, I didn't even have this a part of the original course because I thought I was the only one who was dealing with all of these thoughts and feelings. And then I started holding focus groups. That's when I realized the majority of people were struggling with their mindset as they looked to re-enter the paid workforce. And that's when I knew this had to be included. So before you even think about hitting that apply button, I want to make sure you have the right mindset. When was the first time you were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know about you, but I can't even remember because I was so young. And I think about my kiddo, and at his pre-K graduation, they asked all of the kiddos, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And that question has been asked over and over again. While he's only 7, he's been asked that so often that he already has his preset answer to it. But I think about the amount of times that we are asked that throughout our lives. As kids, we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? When you are entering high school and college, the question becomes, so what's your major? And then when you graduate and you enter the real world, you're asked, so what do you do for a living? It's no wonder that your career and your identity are tied so closely together. As a society, we promote that. And then when you take a step back, it's hard to untangle those two. For so long, you identified as a teacher, as a sales manager. When you look to get back into the paid workforce, you might not want to go back to what you had identified with for so long. And this leads to so many different thoughts and feelings and emotions. You might be thinking, what do I even want to do at this point? Or what do I have to offer? Or, I've been out of the workforce for too long. Whatever you are thinking or feeling, know that it is completely normal. And when we start normalizing these thoughts and feelings, it's a lot easier to talk about, and then more importantly, to figure out how to reframe or overcome. Let's talk about thoughts at a high level. Now, your brain is wired to use the least amount of energy as possible. Let's say you're going to the grocery store. Do you take a different way every time, or do you go the same way? I bet you go the same way. And that's because you don't have to think about it. You just drive out of your driveway and then take your same path to the grocery store. It's easy. You know how to do it. It's comfortable. And if I asked you to, say, go a different way, you could completely do it, but it might be a little bit more challenging because you have to think, wait, what road do I take? Or where is that parking lot entrance if I approach it from this way? And our brains are the same. And this is a great thing if you have a growth mindset, a positive, I can do this mindset, but you can get in a little bit of trouble if you're starting from a fixed mindset, because the more often that your brain thinks something, the more often that you do something, the more embedded it becomes, and it's easier to think or do those things again. And when you think over and over in a certain way, well, that becomes your mindset. And your mindset is so important when it comes to your job search. And I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Looking for a job can be challenging. It can take a long time. And now you've added the fact that you're returning from a career break and possibly switching careers. Now, I'm the first to say that this is completely doable and that you will succeed. But I'm not going to brush over the fact that there will be obstacles. There will be times that you are going to face rejection. There are going to be times that you're thinking, is what I'm doing even working? And that is why your mindset is so important. More than that, it's the type of mindset that you have. In Carol Dweck's Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, she outlines two types of mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And I highly recommend this book, not just for your job search, but for life in general, because this is a complete game changer. Now, I'm going to walk through what the differences are between the two mindsets, but I want to start off by letting you know that as humans, most of us aren't fully in a fixed mindset and most of us aren't fully in a growth mindset. We are somewhere on the spectrum. So as I go through these two types, see if you recognize certain areas that you have a growth mindset and certain areas that you might have a fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, you believe that your abilities are fixed. You either are something or you aren't something. You also just tend to avoid challenges because what's the point? If you're not good at it, well, there's no point in trying it. It's just going to prove that you're not good at it. And with a fixed mindset, you also take failure very personally. Now, with a growth mindset, you believe that intelligence and that abilities, they are something that can be developed. And you realize that challenges are just a path to getting better at something. And you see failure just as a part of the process. Now, when you have a fixed mindset, you will find yourself saying things such as, I can't, or I don't know how. With a growth mindset, you're going to have yourself say things such as, how do I figure out? Or what do I need to do to get better at? Here's a personal example of a fixed mindset that I used to have. I used to say to myself, I'm not good at drawing. It was an open and shut case. There's just no point in me trying because whatever I draw, the person looking at it's going to be like, what is that? So I thought, well, I'm not even going to try because I'm just going to prove to myself that I'm not good at this. And then my kiddo asked me to draw a dog. And I thought to myself, I don't want to tell him I can't or I'm not good at because I don't want to reinforce that in him. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to look up how to draw a basic dog. And lo and behold, I drew a dog that looked like a dog. And in that moment, I had a shift. I realized the entirety of my life, I had labeled myself as somebody who had no artistic skills. I believed you were either born with them or you weren't. And in that moment, I realized that I'd never developed those skills. I've never even put myself in a position to try. And so that's a very general way of looking at fixed versus growth mindset. And when it comes to your job search, you are going to be faced with the option of having a fixed or growth mindset over and over again. For example, you might be thinking to yourself, I can't find a job after being out of the paid workforce for so long. That's a fixed mindset. If you shift to a growth mindset, you find yourself thinking, how do I figure out how to relaunch my career after a career break? Or I don't know anybody who works for that company who could help me learn a bit more, becomes, how do I go about finding somebody who works at that company? Or I don't have that skill set, becomes, what do I need to do to get that skill set? That simple shift makes a world of difference. And when it comes to your mindset, I wish it was as easy as saying, well, just stop thinking the way that you think and start thinking like this. But if it was that easy, then we would all do it. So instead, I want to give you some practical ways that you can start shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. First is to identify when you have a fixed statement enter your mind. For example, if you think to yourself, I'm not good at public speaking, I want you to recognize it and then write it down. And then right underneath, I want you to reframe it into a growth mindset statement. I'm not good at public speaking becomes, how do I get better at public speaking. And there's something about seeing it written down and taking the power away from that fixed mindset and seeing in writing how it can be a growth mindset statement that just helps solidify it for me. And then when I see it, I'm like, okay, yeah, how can I do this? The second one is I want you to talk to yourself as you would a friend or a child. Now imagine this. Let's say your kiddo came home from school and was like, I want to try out for the soccer team. But you're like, yeah, you haven't played soccer since you were 4 years old and now you're 11. Would you say to them, well, there's just no point in trying because, well, you're not very good at it? No, you would say, what do we need to do to get you ready for tryouts? Let's go start practicing. Let's run some drills. You would figure out how to get your kid to be in a place to set them up for success. You deserve the exact same. Or imagine you went to dinner with a friend and they're telling you about a position at their company that they really want to apply for. But then they're like, I don't know. I don't think I have the necessary skills and they're not going to hire me anyway. Would you say, yeah, you're probably right. I wouldn't even try. Heck no. You would probably say to them, you are amazing in this way, in this way, in this way. And let's figure out how you can upskill in the areas that you might need some more experience in. And you would encourage them. Treat yourself as you would the people that you love and care about most, because you too deserve that same love and care. And next is to surround yourself with supportive people. The job search journey is not an easy one. There are going to be highs and there are going to be lows. And you need to make sure that throughout all of this, you have supportive people around you, because there will be times when those fixed mindset statements start entering your brain. I can't find a job. Is this even worth it? I don't know how to get into this field. And that's when you want those people around you to be that person that you might need because you are just so drained of doing it yourself. And these supportive people aren't just yes people, they're people who will help you grow and to challenge you in the best possible way. And finally, I want you to give yourself grace. This is a process, and it's one that we've never been formally taught, at least not most of us. I'm sure you didn't ever have a full semester-long course in how to strategically job search, but yet you're thrown out into this job search realm and you're expected to figure it out. But you have to learn and you have to figure out even how to shift your mindset on top of resume writing, interviewing, connecting. Just remember to give yourself grace. Here are a few points to keep in mind. The thoughts and the feelings that you're having are completely normal. I've worked with nearly 100 job seekers as they look to return to the paid workforce, and I've heard it all. I've heard people say that they're overwhelmed, that they're excited, that they feel relief, that they feel guilt. All of it is normal. So don't beat yourself up if you're thinking, I'm the only one who is having all of these thoughts, because you're not. And next is to accept that rejection is part of the process. And I say this early because I want you to fully embrace the fact that if you receive a rejection, which you most likely will, it does not equate to your value or your worth. Do not give rejection that power. Simply realize that you need to bake it into part of the process because everybody deals with it. And next is to focus on everything that is in your control. When you are looking for a job, it's easy to feel as though there are a lot of things not in your control. And to be fair, there are. I mean, you can't control how many other people are applying for a position. You can't control if there was an internal candidate that they already had in mind, but they just had to post the position for regulatory reasons. But there's so much more in your control. There's networking, there's interviewing, there's resume writing, there's your LinkedIn, there's branding, there's so much. So when you feel as though everything is out of your control, I want you to center yourself and realize how much is in your control. Remember, this is doable. Millions of other people have gone before you. If they can figure it out, you can too. Before we move on to Module 2, I have an action item for you, and that is for you to answer this question. What would it look like if your mindset didn't undermine your efforts. Take a few minutes and really think about that as it pertains to your job search. All right, I'll see you in module 2.